Hi guys, hi everybody, welcome to Spin Cycle. It is episode 12 and we are talking about a very important topic, especially for women, I think. But before we jump into that, how's your week been? So far my week is eating sugar because things are crashing. Like this calendar. Can we talk about this end of year calendar real quick? Look. No, this is awful. I'm trying to remember all the things, all the days, and it is like not going so well. Hi, you guys. So I don't understand why. Come on in, everybody. I don't understand why we got to do like all the field trips and all like everything. This was color coded and it's like not even colored anymore. Look, and my sweet husband wrote on there in the middle, take a breath because I love you on Thursday. So I don't know if I'm supposed to take a breath today and remember he loves me or only do it on Thursday. But June is like eating my lunch. I can't even stand it. Quick update. I'll post a picture later, but guess what I did? I got a bike. And it has a basket because you know your girl's got to be a little extra. So it's super cute. It's blue and white. It's from Wally World, but I love it. So first time in my adult life that I have a bike. I'm super excited. So, all right. Well, while y'all are coming in, hanging out tonight, you can keep doing that. But I wanted to talk about a topic because I see it a lot, and I hear it often, and I think it should be addressed in a supportive, encouraging community like this tribe is. And you know that I love you guys, and we're all working on these things together. And so I bring this topic to us because I think we can do better in this area. So let's talk about nagging. Why, ladies, why do we nag so much? I kind of feel like we can trace this all the way back to the Garden of Eden. Because Eve had some struggles, didn't she? And I feel like she was very nuanced in her explanations of things. And I think sometimes we can get nuanced, like micro, instead of looking at the macro picture, we look at the micro. And I think as women, as we are multitasking and we have a lot on our minds and we can start looking at all the details in the micro and hone in on them, and then the nagging starts. So that could be a whole other topic of why do we do it? I think it happens to the best of us. So this is what I've learned so far about nagging. Number one, can we agree on some common denominator? I don't know, this might stretch you some, but I think that nagging is a choice. Sorry, I keep looking a little bit off. I'm not used to how I have this camera today, so sorry about that. I'm doing something different today. See how different that was? Okay, so I'm really under the mindset that nagging is a choice. Can it become habit? Yes, but we have to be mindful of our words, and so that's where I feel like that comes in as a choice. It's not cute. Have you heard yourself nag? Have you heard your voice? Have you ever heard yourself like recorded in the background? Somebody was taking a video or you heard it in the background or something like that. And it is not cute. It is not attractive. It is obnoxious. You can fill in your own words about it if you've had that experience. But no one wants to sound like their mother, I don't think. No one wants to sound that way. And so that's another reason why it's not cute, because we don't want, like, is that really the sound we want in our home? And is that what the sound that we want people remembering us by? So I think we got to be choosy here. I think we got to be choosy at what we comment on, and I think we got to be choosy on, I'll come see you in just a second. I want to see that. It looks cool. A real one?
Yeah.
Oh boy, we got a real frog.
2 frogs up, but then one of them died.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, let's not set it on the couch. Oh boy. Okay. Can you go outside?
Yeah, it's caged up.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. I was trying to be very positive and supporting, but he had a frog on my couch. Okay.
No, he almost.
Okay, sorry. Back on topic. I think we have to be really careful about what we choose to emphasize, what we choose to comment on, how we choose to follow up, and the tone of our voice. Because I think it's different asking a question than it is commenting. And listen, I'm just telling you because I've done it both ways now. Okay, this is the second rodeo, and I'm approaching it totally different. I think the biggest reason that nagging is not cute at all for us is because it demonstrates our mistrust of our spouse. So there is no better way to communicate that you do not trust someone and what they're getting done than to nag them and to berate them with comments or commentary or a narrative about something. So, you want to take a little survey with me real quick here? So, my ladies who are watching, not that it would be you, but I'm just saying, what are general topics that we nag about? Right, type it in there. What are some general topics that you always hear? He left his socks on the floor, or something about the toothpaste, or I hear those kind of things all the time. Okay, so when I hear those things, I actually am taken aback because in my life situation, I can't even waste time on those things anymore. Living through what I lived through at the level of crazy that it was, you will not hear me complaining about shoes on the floor. You will not hear me complaining about toothpaste or things left on the bathroom counter. That is just not a priority for me. I cannot even tell you how dramatically my life flipped around. So those things that might have been a priority to me or really bothered me, or I chose to let them bother me, or it irritated me. I don't know what to say except for that when I went through my crazy stuff, a switch flipped in my mind, and I just don't even place the value on those things that I used to, because I have seen and been through some crazy stuff, and those small things, it's not what I want to choose my time to focus on. I really don't. I'm much more choosy about my time, my words, all of that. I want to be known for my supportive teamwork. And that's what I think is attractive and beautiful and what I want for my life, my home, my marriage. So it's not cute because it's a bad choice. It's not cute because it demonstrates your mistrust of your spouse. Because why would you be saying that over and over and over, reminding them, hounding them? I get it if they're not trustworthy. I get how you get to that point because I was there. It's a different situation if you have someone that you love and you trust and you're just in a rut and you're just in some bad habits. It's also a waste of time. So I think I kind of looped that into that explanation there, but I just don't, that's not how I want to spend my time. I don't want to spend my time looking around my house, looking at negative things and having like some negative talk in my head. Like, why wouldn't he have just picked that up? Or that was so close to blah, blah, the sink. Why didn't he just put it in there? Or why didn't he pick his shoes up? I can't expect something of someone else that I'm not willing to do. And I know that every single day I'm not at 100%. I am not at my best sometimes. I sometimes can be lazy. Sometimes I can be selfish. So I can't expect from someone else something that I'm not all the way there yet on. And so I have clothes in a pile right now in my room. So I'm not going to go around and say, oh, why did you do this or not do that or not pick up that? Like, we're a team. And so, did you see the frog?
Yes, I did.
Oh, gosh.
Harambe?
That's the name?
I guess so.
I don't even know what that means.
You want to see a nice Fortnite one? Look at my channel in like 30 minutes.
Maybe I will. But is that name like, is that like a swear word in another language or something?
Harambe? No, it's the name of the gorilla that died way back. The guy shot because it dragged that kid in the...
How does Silas know that?
Because it was like a really big internet meme.
Well, I don't even know about it. He's not even allowed on the internet. Okay. Clara, it's a waste of time because they don't hear us. You gotta just let them do what they need to do. Like, this is obviously not a conversation that gets solved, right, from just our quick chat here. But when you have a different perspective on life, it changes some of your values and some of your priorities. And I'm just not willing to do that anymore because I feel like I get a second chance at this. I have limited amount of time, right? I'm turning 40 in September. And so, like, I'm hoping for 40 years with my man, and how I want to spend that, I'm very protective of how I want to do that. And I want to choose happiness and teamwork and trust and faithfulness and respect and love and all of those things. And so by me focusing on those things, it does not help. Now, you'd have to ask my husband to see if I've ever nagged him. There has been a couple times where I've repeated myself because I really didn't think he heard me, and I got a short response from him, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I really didn't think you heard me. So kind of like in the heat of the moment kind of thing. So here's the deal. I try to... Okay, let me first say this. I think that we nag a lot because we get overwhelmed. So I think women, like, our senses are really heightened to a lot of things. We can take in a lot of information, like, with multiple senses. And so the more I get overwhelmed, the more I can focus on the micro. Hello. Look at Bonkers making his appearance.
Bonkers, say hi to Facebook Live.
Okay. So I think that,
Like
I don't know for you, but for me, I can tell when I get really overwhelmed, I start to, like, narrow in, right? It could be, like, nothing at all, and then I narrow in on, like, these are all the things wrong. We need to clean the whole house, and we need to da-da-da, and by the way, you never, and you always, and I totally get how that can, like, spiral really, really, really quick right off the cliff. But here's what I would say, like, if you are looking for a way to kind of correct that behavior or to modify it, or you know what, maybe I should work on that this week, is ask a question and check in with each other. Okay, so I know this is like, I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to talk to you guys tonight because because it's a little crazy right here, right now. So here's the thing. Ask questions. So ask clarifying questions. Not like manipulative, like passive-aggressive stuff. Like,
Mom.
So have you ever thought about doing the dishes today?
Wish
like,
me good luck on
no,
my
no.
math final tomorrow.
Yes, we do wish you all good luck on your math final tomorrow. Hallelujah. Amen. God bless you. But maybe the question could be, okay, so this happened, I think it was last weekend. Here's an example. So it was one of those days where I could have easily gotten like overwhelmed. The house was a wreck. It was one of those days where you just walk in and you're just like, this whole house sucks. We got to burn it down. We got to start over. One of those days, right? And so we were just like, oh my gosh. So I just said to him, okay, what are your expectations for this weekend? So he had kind of thought that we would just be like both tackling projects at the house. I knew I still had to go get groceries. I know how long that takes me. And so I was like not in that mindset at all. Like in my head, I didn't reserve any time for like work at the house and all of that. So instead of trying to focus on what was wrong, like I just tried to figure out like, okay, here's the pieces of the puzzle. These are things that you want to get done. These are things that I would like to get done. Like, how do we make this work in the time that we have? So I'm not saying it's like a long drawn out like brainstorm and we make charts and like diagram sentences. I'm just saying like sometimes asking a question can prompt a conversation, or at least just a few sentences where you can kind of both get on the same page as far as teamwork. Also, I would recommend check-in. So ask a question and check in often. So we have probably at least 1 or 2 check-ins through the day, usually one during the middle of the day and then one at night. So, you know, some of that stuff can be resolved then during those times. Sometimes, a couple times we've had to just kind of save it for later and to push it. It's really hard to push those topics because, listen, I was super hot this morning about a parenting topic, and I mean, I was off the cliff. I was off the ledge. I was dangling. I don't even know what happened. I think I died like 1,000 deaths. And, you know, I wasn't even on the way to work. And so it took a lot of emotional energy to fix my face, to put the worship music on. All I texted him was like, we need to talk about this tonight. And I was just like, oh, but if he picks up the phone and he calls me and is like, are you okay? Like, I will go off and it will not be cute and it will not sound good. It will just be the worst version of what I've concocted. So I just was like, okay. And he was like, okay, we'll do that. So that's still coming. So we're still having that conversation. So it could have been easy for me to fly off the handle and just say, why does this always happen? Or why does that child always get to do this? Or it seems like that child is always, you know, not accountable for their words or actions. Why do you always let that one go, you know, get away with it? Or whatever the perceived thing is. It could have been so easy for me to just like rip into that. And it took a lot of self-control to just send the text to just say, listen, this is really important. I need to talk to you about this tonight. And leave it there. Trust yourself, trust Jesus, and trust your spouse that like, we're going to talk about it. We're going to circle back. We're going to have a check-in and then do that. But it's really helpful to have a couple check-ins during the day because then you're not left with all these gaps. And so sometimes I think nagging happens because there's gaps. There's gaps in our expectations and then what really happens, right? So there's a gap that's created. And so when you start filling that gap with suspicion, like, well, if he loved me, he would clean up around here because he knows how hard I work at XYZ. Or if he, you know, all those kind of examples. So, hi, bud. Did you see the frog?
What?
The froggy?
What? Where?
Silas's frog. I still gotta figure out where this frog came from.
I did not see it. I'm gonna go upstairs and take a shower.
Okay, it's your turn. Thank you. Okay, we're finally all taking showers on our own. Okay, so what's a check-in exactly? Good question. Usually, it could be anything from, how was your day? How did it go? Sometimes, my husband will ask me, like, because I'm usually the one that's getting all the little kids out the door. So sometimes he'll just say, like, how did it, like, if he calls me at lunchtime, he might say, like, how did it go? You know, getting them all off to school. Did anybody have a problem? So like if there's anything in the first half of the day that we need to kind of talk out or sort out or something like that, then that's helpful. And then at night, sometimes it's just us talking before bed, or if we go on a walk, or it's kind of just like a more sophisticated version of talking about your day. So if he can tell that something's wrong, you know, he'll ask like, are you okay? You seem really off today. Or that kind of stuff. Does that help? It's not like official. It's not like, what do I want to say? Like, it's not like a official formula, but it's helpful to have like touch points, like communication touch points, so that if there are things that create that gap, oh, I thought you said you were gonna blah, blah, pay that bill today. And then they can be like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot because my meeting went longer and I couldn't get online to do that. You know what I mean? It's like you're both sharing that information. It's not like one person is like hounding the other person. Like, I don't know. I just know to approach it like a team. And so, and this is like a weird, I've used this analogy before with you guys, but I've used the analogy that he's the COO of our family, or I'm sorry, he's the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer, and I'm the COO, so the Chief Operations Officer. And so we kind of like run it that way. I know that it's like weird to think of that because we're all like mushy with our love story and stuff. But when we kind of run the family and like the household and all the things that make that up, we run it more that way. And so in my mind, like I treat it just as if I was working with some coworkers. Like, hey, I wanted to circle back with you about this. Were you able to get that done this week? Or do you want me to call? Or those kind of things. It's much more respectful than you always do this, you never follow through, you da 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 da. And I get why if you have a broken foundation of trust, like that erodes everything. So I've completely been there to know what that feels like. And then if that's where you're at, like my heart goes out to you. So ask questions, check in often if possible. And then just make some decisions. Really, I would really encourage you to make some decisions about how you want to be perceived and how you want to be heard. That goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning, just about demonstrating that mistrust and showing a lack of confidence in your spouse and sounding like your mother and all those things that aren't cute. Any thoughts? Put them in the comments. We can continue this conversation if you want to. But I know it's hard, and I know that some of you guys are just being so intentional and deliberate about working on things, and that is so encouraging because it takes all of us encouraging each other in those things. And you know that I like to keep it real and just talk about real topics and how to figure it out and not just be a godly woman and a wonderful spouse. Like, no, what does that actually look like? Like, let's check ourselves. So I try to break it down for us as best as I can. But I hope that is encouraging tonight. Listen, nagging does not look cute on anybody. Like, that's just not a good look for us. And we can be so much more supportive. We can be so much more of a team. We can, hi, did you take your shower yet? Okay, so you need some help? Okay. All right, so we're going to go here and finish some duties. But I appreciate you guys checking in tonight. I had fun with our time. Have a good week. Practice this. And I would love to hear how maybe one of these strategies helped you. Remember, we want to get out of the spin cycle. We don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over because that does not move us forward. That does not create progress, right? That makes us stand still and become stagnant, and we don't want that either. So enjoy your families and your loved ones, and we'll see you next week for Spin Cycle.